California fire officials announced that the massive Carr fire, which burned for over a month this summer in and around the city of Redding, has been fully contained. The fires, which began in late July, claimed 8 lives, destroyed more than 1,000 homes, and covered over 229,000 acres. Multiple fires continue to burn throughout the western U.S., and wildfire seasons are expected to last longer and burn hotter. Flames are not the only danger from fires. Smoke can drift for hundreds of miles. The smoke from this year's western wildfires has been observed all the way in New Hampshire, swept toward the east by the jet stream. A new report by nonprofit science and news organization Climate Central shows that in parts of California, as well as Idaho, Oregon, and Washington state, progress in reducing traditional air pollution is being undermined by wildfires. Senior science writer John Upton joined me recently to discuss those implications. John, when we think about people affected by forest fires, we're usually thinking about those people who have homes that are too close to the fires, they evacuate, they get out of harm's way. But your report really starts to look at a group of people that can't get out of harm's way, not from the fire, but from the smoke. Explain.
Well, the smoke actually from wildfires is becoming a huge public health issue across the West. It's actually blowing all the way to the East Coast. It's recently been reaching New York, Louisiana, Maine. So the smoke from the wildfires is affecting a large number of people, but it becomes so thick in some places. It's such a defining trait of the atmosphere, of the weather in the West right now, that it is inescapable. Some people are more vulnerable than others. Those who live at the edges of forests that are burning, they obviously get hit with very intense smoke waves with very severe health consequences. But there are also people who are living in areas that are already polluted, who are already feeling unwell, who have conditions such as asthma, emphysema that are linked to breathing air pollution. This certainly is the case in California's Central Valley, which we think of as a farming region that produces a lot of our produce. But that's a real bowl. There's mountains around it, and the air pollution from the farms and the trucks there, it gets stuck in the valley. And they've been making great strides in cleaning the air there in recent years and decades through environmental regulations, technology improvements. But now what's happening is these fires are burning all around California in the west. The smoke ends up pouring into the valley, and it has nowhere to go. And the people who are breathing that smoke now are the people who are already the most affected by air pollution.
So give me an example. Somebody who's out there literally in the fields all day, working, picking our produce. What are they breathing in now as this fire season extends?
And what the biggest concern is these tiny particles in the smoke. When the wood burns, when the material burns, it produces these tiny particles called particulate matter. These particles get into our lungs, they trigger asthma and other conditions, but they're so small they actually pass through into our bloodstreams. And then they travel through our bloodstreams into our heart, into our brain, and they exacerbate risks of everything from heart attack, stroke, even diabetes and depression.
You also took a look at the larger context of how this is happening. But you're saying that the worst air quality days are actually happening when the forest fires are going. That seems pretty logical. But you're also pointing out that there are more and more days when forest fires are burning all over the West.
Climate Central's researchers looked at a number of different regions in the West and compared the number of heavily polluted days that are occurring now to about 20 years ago. We're seeing more and more unhealthy days occurring during wildfire season, and at the same time we're seeing the wildfire season is actually extending.
So give me an example. Someone working in the San Joaquin Valley or living in the San Joaquin Valley, how long or how much longer now is it that they're walking out into bad air?
Well, it changes from year to year, and it's an average type thing. But certainly the fire season is 100 days longer than it was in the 70s. So you would anticipate smoke impacts also being extended by a similar amount.
Let's also talk a little bit about why that's happening. How much does climate change contribute to longer and longer forest fire seasons?
There's 3 reasons that we've been seeing really terrible fire seasons lately. One is beyond our control. That's the weather. The West has very variable climate conditions. It'll be very dry one year, very wet the next year, or even from one century to the next. But there's 2 other factors that are very much under our control. One of those factors is climate change. The temperatures are increasing, and when you get warmer temperatures, the moisture gets sucked out of the landscape, so you have drier conditions, and the fires are going to burn hotter. They're going to burn over larger areas. The third thing that's also under our control is forest conditions, forest management. We haven't been spending very much money igniting and managing fires along the forest floors in a lot of these western landscapes. And those fires used to occur naturally or under the control of tribes up until a couple hundred years ago. And they would really remove a lot of the fuel from the forest floor. And when you have that fuel build up, that acts as a ladder. It actually lifts the flames from the forest floor up into the canopy, and it's once the flames get into the canopy, that's when you have problems. That's when you have these big wildfires that kill people and destroy property and cause all this pollution. So we are inevitably looking at a future with more fires and more smoke. That's what the modelling shows us. We're expecting to see continued improvements in air quality from a continued shift to solar power and so forth, but at the same time we are expecting to see worse impacts undermining that progress from wildfires.
Climate Central senior science writer John Upton, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Harry.